Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
But who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And what he do?
And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another episode of CLR, Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Today, we're going to be reacting to a compilation, Rap's Biggest Police Raids. Now, I haven't seen this, so you're going to get my initial reaction. And what is implicated here is the Fourth Amendment. What's the Fourth Amendment? Fourth Amendment is your right against unreasonable searches and seizures. And anytime a cop stops you and searches you or enters your home, they have to have either a warrant or an exception to the warrant. Okay, there's an automobile exception. There's also the inevitable discovery exception. There's also in hot pursuit and the effervescent doctrine. So these are all things that police officers can use to avoid a warrant. So say for the sake of example, you are running from the cops and you run into your home. Well, if they had just seen you commit a crime, they don't need a warrant to go in to get you. They can chase you in there. But what do they need for a warrant? They need probable cause. What is probable cause? Probable cause is just that it's more likely true than not true that evidence of a crime is going to be found where it is alleged to be. So to get a warrant on somebody's home for drugs, for example, they have to have some recent, can't be dated, so it's temporal, it has to be within a certain amount of time, reasonable, that somebody has either seen drugs in the house or that they know drugs will be there. Usually it's some kind of informant, snitch, that we will give them information about that person. Usually, and there's two types of cooperating people. There's a confidential, reliable informant. That's somebody who's given reliable information in the past. There's a confidential informant, and there's a confidential arrested informant. Now, an arrested informant is somebody that is in custody and they're cooperating to benefit themselves. They need a little more corroboration in what they tell the cops. So let's get into this. So this is the largest, or this is the Rap's biggest police raids. So, and like I said, I haven't seen this, so let's just kind of get into it.
An all-out war between hip-hop and the law enforcement. So when cops get a tip that a rapper might be doing something illegal, they usually go all out. Here's a look at a few famous rappers and hip-hop celebrities who have been raided by the police. Lil Wayne. On November 3rd, 2015, the rapper's mansion in Miami Beach was raided by law enforcement. The cops had what is called a levy warrant that is used to seize property due to unpaid debts.
So a levy warrant is not the same as another kind of warrant, but it still gives them the ability to seize your property, and not only seize it just for the moment, it's seize it like until you either pay your debts or they sell it off to pay your debts.
Had been ordered to pay $2 million to Signature Group, a jet leasing company, in a civil lawsuit and failed to pay on time. This was right around the time that Wayne was in the middle of his contract dispute with Cash Money. That same year, he sued his label for $51 million, claiming that they had withheld royalties and violated the terms of his contract. It took some time, but Wayne eventually got his legal situation under control, and he's back to making music with hot young artists like Polo G and Roddy Ricch. But this next rapper wasn't so fortunate and ended up doing 7 years in prison after a raid at a popular studio in New York. Bobby Shmurda.
Now we know Bobby Shmurda. And it's unfortunate that he had to do those 7 years. But let's see what more they have to say about Bobby.
Shmurda is a modern Brooklyn drill legend, despite having only dropped a few hit singles and an EP. The rapper's music career was cut short after he and his crew, GS9, were arrested following a raid at Quad Studios in New York City. The police had been investigating the crew for a long time, and on December 18, 2014, the rapper and many of his friends were arrested at the studio after police uncovered 21 guns, as well as crack and weed.
21 guns, crack, and weed. Weed, who gives a shit about the weed? Nobody cares about weed anymore. But the crack is a big deal, and especially when it comes to finding it in close proximity to firearms. And to search, one of the things about a search warrant is you have a reasonable expectation of privacy in your home. It's your castle, right? So that's the highest level of expectation of privacy. That's why you need a warrant. The cops need a warrant before they can get in there. But you have a reasonable expectation of privacy also in your business. A cop can't just come into my law firm and search my law firm without a warrant unless they have probable cause. And the way they develop probable cause, 99 times out of 100, is a snitch.
To paint Bobby as the ringleader of the gang who organized violent attacks on their ops. He eventually pled guilty to 1 count of conspiracy and 1 count of weapons possession and was sentenced to 7 years in prison. What earned him the respect of fans across the world was that he could have gotten a lighter sentence because he wasn't accused of the more serious crimes. But it would have meant that his homies would have gotten more time. So like a real G, he took the longer sentence to make sure his people were straight. He ended up serving the full 7 years and was released on February 23rd.
So Bobby Shmurda didn't snitch. Do we know anybody else that snitched? How many 9s you got in your pocket?
If you thought that was crazy, his next producer had his Manhattan offices raided after being accused of laundering money for a notorious drug lord, Irv Dogg. Irv Dogg is a famous record executive from Hollis, Queens, known as the CEO and co-founder of Murder Inc. But just at the height of his success, Irv's company was the subject of an NYPD investigation that eventually led to the label's downfall. On January 23, 2003, the Murder Inc. offices were raided by a team of agents from the FBI.
Let's just think about that for a second. The name of your company is Murder Inc. You don't think that's going to draw attention? Of course it's going to draw attention. The industry draws attention. And if you have a company called Murder Inc. and you're funneling money through there, dirty money or whatever kind of money, you're going to get screwed.
The feds brought in drug-sniffing dogs to uncover anything incriminating they can find and eventually confiscated tons of documents and the computers in the office. No arrests were made directly after the raid, but Irv and his brother Chris eventually had to stand trial for allegedly laundering over $1 million of drug profits for Kenneth Supreme McGriff.
Now, money laundering is a federal crime. And laundering $1 million in drug proceeds, while it's serious, it's not huge in terms of dollar value. So the guidelines shouldn't be horrendous on him.
He was a well-known drug lord in New York City who had been running the streets of Jamaica, Queens since the 1980s. McGriff is allegedly the one who ordered the hit on 50 Cent when he was shot 8 times early on in his career. 50 raps about Supreme on the track Ghetto Quran, which the drug lord wasn't happy about, and the rest is rap history. Supreme was eventually found guilty of murder, conspiracy, and drug trafficking, but Irv and his brother would be acquitted of all charges, making him one of the few celebrities in hip-hop to beat a Fed case, which has around a 90% conviction rate. But if you thought...
That's true. The feds do. They're insanely motivated, and they have. It's a next level up. It's like a really high class law firm, basically. And to beat a Fed case is an accomplishment, but to be in that position probably wasn't the smartest thing that he ever did.
That's Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane is now known as a rap legend and music mogul who has shined the spotlight on a lot of talented, up-and-coming artists. Police raided the home of Waka Flocka, one of the first artists that Gucci took under his wing and signed in 1017. Gucci was staying with Waka and his mother Deb, who managed him at the time. Police raided the home and found a small amount of marijuana. Gucci was arrested because he was the only one home, but was later released and not charged with anything.
They searched the home and found a small amount of marijuana. What does that tell you? That tells you they either got stale information or bad information, so the snitch was not reliable.
Waka's mother claimed that the police raided the home looking for evidence that Waka was gang affiliated. They didn't find what they were after and arrested Gucci to justify the raid. This was right around the time that Gucci and Waka were starting to beef. Although Gucci and Waka never fully reunited, they have both publicly announced that there is no bad blood between them anymore, and they just prefer to live their own lives. So while the world may never get to hear Ferrari Boys 2, at least the two artists have put the past behind them.
So you hear that? They put their past behind them. That's what these guys need to do. All of them. They need to put this shit behind them and live to rap another day.
Paul Wall, along with 10 other people, including fellow Houston rapper Baby Bash, were arrested after the police raided the Paradise Smoke Shop in Houston. The group was hosting a private party and toy drive for underprivileged kids. The rapper and the other men present were charged with manufacturing and delivering THC, the main compound found in weed. He was released on a $20,000 bond, but faced felony drug charges if convicted of the crime. But lucky for Paul Wall and Baby Bash, the grand jury declined to indict the rappers, and all charges were dropped.
So that's a pretty rare occurrence to have a grand jury give a no bill. That's what they call it when the grand jury doesn't indict. And so, because you've heard the old phrase, you could indict a ham sandwich, because there's no judge before a grand jury. There's no defense lawyer. There's no cross-examination. It's just the prosecutor presenting his case. Here's the other thing. When they execute a search warrant, if it turns out that that search warrant was issued illegally, then you file a motion and you argue about its illegality in court. If the judge later determines that what the police did in that acquiring of the search warrant was illegal, then it's called fruit of the poisonous tree. And anything that was acquired or seized by the cops during that execution of that search warrant is suppressed. If it's suppressed, they don't have any evidence. If they don't have any evidence, they got to dismiss all charges. I suspect some of that's going on here.
Luckily, the grand jury saw what was going on and declined to even hear the case so the rappers could get back to helping out the community. But this next rapper wasn't so lucky. His house was raided after an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers revealed that he was threatening people online and was arrested on illegal gun charges. Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy is a rapper and internet personality known for his viral antics. But the internet can be a wild place, and sometimes, when a troll goes too far, there can be real-life consequences. Soulja Boy had to learn this lesson the hard way and got arrested for a probation violation after police found a gun in his home during a raid. The rapper was first arrested for weapons possession in 2014 after police pulled over a vehicle he was riding in and found a gun on him. Soulja claimed the gun wasn't his, and his manager even stated that a neighbor had left the gun in the car, but the court didn't buy it, and Soulja was sentenced to 2 years of probation. In 2016,
So here he is. He's got a gun case in his background, and then he starts a beef online with people, threatening him with a gun, and that gives him. That's called self-snitching, right? Because that gives it's his own words that gave them the probable cause for the search warrant, and the rest is history.
Soulja picked a fight with Lil Bo on Twitter over Instagram model India Love. Quavo stepped in and defended his label mate, which led to Soulja targeting the Migos instead. This led to Soulja dropping the diss track Beef and post a video to Instagram of himself holding a Draco and playing the song in the background.
Just like Big Homie. He posted something on Instagram, and guess what? Bye-bye.
Going viral. Not long after, the police raided his home after an anonymous tip to the Crime Stoppers hotline revealed that Soulja was wilding out and threatening people online. The cops found the gun, and Soulja was found to be in violation of his probation. He pled guilty to felony gun possession and was sentenced to an additional 5 years of probation, plus 240 days of community service. As part of his plea agreement, he was even banned from threatening anyone else online with a weapon, even with a toy or prop gun. But it did give the internet some high-quality entertainment for a few days and kept Soulja's name relevant, which is really what he was after anyway.
So even though he got some notoriety from it, he got an extra 5 years of probation. You screw up on your last day of probation, guess what? You're going to prison.
Young Thug. Despite his taste for women's fashion and wild behavior, Young Thug is really about that life. The rapper has had many run-ins with the law throughout his career, including a raid on his home back in 2015. The rapper was arrested in July 2015 after police raided his home in Sandy Springs, a suburb of Atlanta, and found felony amounts of weed and cocaine, as well as at least 3 illegal firearms. Not long before, Thug was also arrested by U.S. Marshals for threatening to kill a mall cop. Security at a Georgia mall had asked the rapper...
See, that threatening to kill a mall cop. I mean, who gives a shit about a fucking mall cop, honestly? Why would you pay him any mind? I mean, he gives you a little bit of shit, so what? But threatening to kill him, guess what? That gives them, the ability to fuck with him.
...to leave, and on the way out, Thug told him he was going to come back and shoot one of them in the face. Around the same time, Thug was also found to have ties to the dude who shot up Lil Wayne's tour bus. Although he was never charged with the crime, a lawsuit filed by the bus driver revealed that the rapper called the shooter's phone 8 times that night, indicating that he may have been involved in the shooting as he was beefing with Wayne at the time. Thug was released on $10,000 bond and was eventually cleared of all charges. His lawyers were able to prove that police entered the home without a legal warrant, and therefore, everything they found could not be used as evidence. The court sided with the rapper.
See what I mean? So, what the lawyer did in that case is he properly looked at the application for the warrant. So when the cops get a warrant, they have to apply for it with an affidavit, and the affidavit is supposed to establish probable cause, right? And so a judge will sign it. Most judges sign whatever the cops put in their face. Good judges will not do that, but you have the right to have that reviewed. And so you file a motion to suppress. you ask for either a Frank's hearing, which is a hearing where you talk about the illegality of the warrant, and then you could get the warrant thrown out. And if you get the warrant thrown out, guess what? They have no evidence to proceed.
And all the charges were dropped except for the weed charge, which didn't carry a serious penalty. So Thug got pretty lucky that the cops did a sloppy job with raiding his home. NBA Youngboy. In September 2020, Youngboy, along with 16 other men, were filming a music video in an abandoned house in Baton Rouge when neighbors called the cops. Police recovered 14 guns and $79,000 worth of cash. One of the...
See, people talk about, oh, they're prop guns. Those aren't prop guns. Neighbors complained, probably just from the noise, and they probably saw these guys with guns and they responded. So, and we know with his history, he is not eligible to possess a firearm.
This turned out to be stolen, and 2 had illegal stocks. Plus, the rapper was also hit with separate drug charges related to the incident. Being a convicted felon, Youngboy is not allowed to be around weapons or hang out with other convicted felons, even if it is for the purpose of filming a music video. He was originally released on $75,000 bond, but in February of 2021, the FBI officially announced that they had opened an investigation into the entire NBA crew, and a warrant was issued for Youngboy's arrest. After LAPD tried to pull him over for the warrant, the rapper tried to get away, first in a car and then on foot. He was eventually tracked by a K-9 unit and is being held without bail until the trial. Check.
That's what we talked about that. You remember he fled from the cops and tossed a gun, so he's got another gun charge.
If convicted, Youngboy could spend a long time behind bars. Even though no one was actually harmed on the day of the video shoot, Youngboy has a criminal history that includes charges relating to shootouts, domestic battery, kidnapping, and more. In the past, he's always managed to get by without facing any serious time, but this case is looking different. Youngboy's lawyers maintain he's innocent, and authorities have no way to tie the guns and drugs found at the scene to the rapper. But Fed cases have a pretty high conviction rate, so it seems unlikely that they would take it to trial unless they already had solid evidence.
So those are some of the biggest and latest police raids and things that are going on. I wanted to just give you guys a little 411 about the Fourth Amendment and how it's applied and what the cops do in order to get a search warrant, and then what happens when the search warrant goes awry. So this has just been a little bit of informational video for you guys, a little constitutional education about the Fourth Amendment. So I really appreciate all of our subscribers. Really appreciate you guys. If you're watching this, guess what you need to do? You need to follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, and we'd love to have you be one of our patrons. So sign up for the Patreon account, and we'll see you next time. This has been Bruce Rivers, Criminal Lawyer Reacts.